greatest quotes of legendary people around the world. 100 Confucius Most Inspiring Quotes. Confucius, a revered Chinese philosopher, teacher, and scholar, dedicated his life to promoting ethical values, education, and social harmony, leaving a lasting legacy that continues to shape Eastern philosophy and culture. Act with kindness, but do not expect gratitude. The meaning of the quote is, be kind to others without seeking recognition or rewards. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. The meaning of the quote is, true success lies in how we overcome failures and rise again. If you are the smartest person in the room, then you are in the wrong room. The meaning of the quote is, surround yourself with people who are more knowledgeable and skilled than you to continue learning and growing. Better a diamond with a flaw than a pebble without. The meaning of the quote is, it is better to have valuable qualities, even with imperfections, than to lack any notable qualities. The man who moves a mountain begins by carrying away small stones. Achieving great things requires perseverance and starting with small, manageable steps. To see the right and not to do it is cowardice. The meaning of the quote is, it is cowardly to recognize what is morally right, but to fail to take action. Virtuous people often revenge themselves for the constraints to which they submit by the boredom which they inspire. The meaning of the quote is, people who adhere to high moral standards may seek revenge indirectly by becoming sources of boredom to those who impose constraints on them. He who acts with a constant view to his own advantage will be much murmured against. The meaning of the quote is, those who constantly prioritize their own self-interests will face criticism and opposition from others. The superior man is distressed by the limitations of his ability. He is not distressed by the fact that men do not recognize the ability that he has. The meaning of the quote is, a truly noble person is troubled by their own limitations, but is not bothered by the lack of recognition from others. To be wronged is nothing unless you continue to remember it. The meaning of the quote is, being harmed or mistreated is insignificant unless you dwell on the memory and let it consume you. Worry not that no one knows you. Seek to be worth knowing. The meaning of the quote is, instead of worrying about being recognized, focus on developing qualities and actions that make you deserving of recognition. I slept and dreamt life is beauty. I woke and found life is duty. The meaning of the quote is, in dreams, life may appear beautiful, but upon awakening, one realizes that life is about fulfilling responsibilities and duties. Think of tomorrow. The past can't be mended. The meaning of the quote is, instead of dwelling on the past, focus on planning for the future, since the past cannot be changed. Respect yourself and others will respect you. The meaning of the quote is, by valuing and respecting yourself, you set the standard for how others should treat you. A gentleman would be ashamed should his deeds not match his words. A person of integrity feels shame if their actions do not align with their promises or statement. As when it is obvious that the goals cannot be reached, don't adjust the goals, adjust the action steps. The meaning of the quote is, if it becomes clear that you cannot achieve your goals, don't change the goals themselves, but rather adapt your approach and actions. By nature, men are nearly alike. By practice, they get to be wide apart. The meaning of the quote is, people are inherently similar, but their habits and actions shape their differences. The essence of knowledge is having it to use it. The meaning of the quote is, the true value of knowledge lies in its practical application. Fine words and an insinuating appearance are seldom associated with true virtue. The meaning of the quote is, people who use eloquent language and outward charm often lack genuine moral virtue. To be wealthy and honored in an unjust society is a disgrace. The meaning of the quote is, in an unjust society, acquiring wealth and recognition does not bring true honor. Ignorance is the night of the mind, but a night without moon and star. The meaning of the quote is, ignorance clouds the mind and leaves it in darkness, devoid of guidance or illumination. Study the past if you would define the future. The meaning of the quote is, understanding history is crucial for shaping and predicting the future. Never contract friendship with a man that is not better than thyself. The meaning of the quote is, it is wise to form friendships with individuals who are morally, intellectually, or ethically superior to you for personal growth and learning. Learning without thought is labor lost. Thought without learning is perilous. The meaning of the quote is, simply acquiring knowledge without understanding is futile, while engaging in thought without a foundation of knowledge can lead to dangerous outcomes. He who knows all the answers has not been asked all the questions. The meaning of the quote is, claiming to have complete knowledge indicates a lack of awareness that there is always more to learn. Those who cannot forgive others break the bridge over which they themselves must pass. The meaning of the quote is, refusing to forgive hinders personal growth and reconciliation. affecting one's own path to happiness and peace. Those who know the truth are not equal to those who love it. The meaning of the quote is, merely knowing the truth is not enough. True understanding and appreciation come from embracing and embodying it with love and passion. The superior man thinks always of virtue. The common man thinks of comfort. The meaning of the quote is, a person of high moral character consistently prioritizes virtuous actions, while an ordinary person seeks personal comfort and convenience. Learn as if you were not reaching your goal, and as though you were scared of missing it. The meaning of the quote is, approach learning with the mindset of continuous improvement and urgency to avoid missing out on valuable knowledge. We have two lives, and the second begins when we realize we only have one. The meaning of the quote is, there comes a point in our lives when we fully grasp the preciousness and finite nature of our existence, prompting us to live more purposefully. Do not impose on others what you yourself do not desire. The meaning of the quote is, treat others as you would like to be treated, and avoid forcing upon them what you wouldn't want for yourself. Only the wisest and stupidest of men never change. The meaning of the quote is, the truly wise and the extremely foolish are the only ones who refuse to change their perspectives or behaviors. The superior man acts before he speaks, and afterwards speaks according to his action. The meaning of the quote is, a person of integrity takes action first and then communicates in alignment with those actions, letting their deeds speak louder than their words. The man who says he can and the man who says he cannot are both correct. The meaning of the quote is, optimism and pessimism can both become self-fulfilling prophecies, as our mindset and beliefs greatly influence our abilities and outcomes. Your life is what your thoughts make it. The meaning of the quote is, the quality and direction of your life are shaped by your thoughts and mindset, highlighting the power of positive thinking and a constructive outlook. Real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. The meaning of the quote is, true wisdom lies in recognizing the vastness of one's lack of knowledge and understanding. Looking at small advantages prevents great affairs from being accomplished. The meaning of the quote is, focusing on minor gains distracts from achieving significant accomplishments. The superior man makes the difficulty to be overcome his first interest. Success only comes later. The meaning of the quote is, a person of high character prioritizes overcoming challenges, knowing that success will follow. If you make a mistake and do not correct it, this is called a mistake. The meaning of the quote is, recognizing and rectifying one's mistakes is essential to avoid repeating them. Education breeds confidence. Confidence breeds hope. Hope breeds peace. The meaning of the quote is, education instills confidence, which in turn fosters hope, ultimately leading to peace. To go beyond is as wrong as to fall short. The meaning of the quote is, both exceeding the necessary limit and falling short of it are equally undesirable. When we see persons of worth, we should think of equaling them. When we see persons of a contrary character, we should turn inwards and examine ourselves. The meaning of the quote is, observing individuals of admirable quality should inspire self-improvement, while encountering those with negative traits should prompt introspection. A superior man is modest in his speech, but exceeds in his actions. The meaning of the quote is, a person of high moral character speaks humbly, but demonstrates excellence through their actions. They must often change who would remain constant in happiness and wisdom. The meaning of the quote is, continuous personal growth and adaptability are necessary to maintain happiness and wisdom. Be strict with yourself, but least reproachful of others, and complaint is kept afar. The meaning of the quote is, practice self-discipline while being lenient towards others, to avoid unnecessary complaints and conflict. When anger rises, think of the consequences. The meaning of the quote is, when experiencing anger, consider the potential negative outcomes before reacting. If you think in terms of a year, plant a seed. If in terms of 10 years, plant trees. And if in terms of 100 years, teach the people. The meaning of the quote is, think long-term and invest in actions that will yield benefits and progress for future generations. If you look into your own heart and you find nothing wrong there, what is there to worry about? What is there to fear? The meaning of the quote is, when you examine your conscience and find no wrongdoing, there is no need for worry or fear. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. The meaning of the quote is, the speed of progress is insignificant. Persistence and continuous effort are crucial. Virtue is not left to stand alone. He who practices it will have neighbors. The meaning of the quote is, practicing virtue attracts others of similar character and fosters a virtuous community. To see what is right and not to do it is want of courage or of principle. The meaning of the quote is, knowing what is right but failing to act demonstrates a lack of courage or moral integrity. The object of the superior man is truth. The meaning of the quote is, "The pursuit of truth is the ultimate goal." For a person of high moral character, when you have faults, do not fear to abandon them. The meaning of the quote is, do not hesitate to let go of your faults and work towards self-improvement. If we don't know life, how can we know death? The meaning of the quote is, understanding life is necessary to comprehend death. The expectations of life depend upon diligence. The mechanic that would perfect his work must first sharpen his tools. The meaning of the quote is, success in life relies on diligence and preparation, just as a skilled mechanic sharpens their tools before working. To know what you know and what you do not know, that is true knowledge. The meaning of the quote is, true knowledge comes from recognizing both your understanding and your limitations. I want you to be everything that you, deep at the center of your being. The meaning of the quote is, embrace your authentic self and strive to manifest your true potential. Roads were made for journeys, not destinations. The meaning of the quote is, focus on the process and experience of the journey, rather than solely fixating on the end goal. No matter how busy you may think you are, you must find time for reading, or surrender yourself to self-chosen ignorance. The meaning of the quote is, prioritize reading and learning despite being busy, or else willingly embrace ignorance. They must often change who would be constant in happiness or wisdom. To maintain happiness and wisdom, one must be willing to adapt and change. He who speaks without modesty will find it difficult to make his words good. The meaning of the quote is, lack of modesty makes it challenging for one's words to carry weight and credibility. There are 3 methods to gaining wisdom. The first is reflection, which is the highest. The second is limitation, which is the easiest. The third is experience, which is the bitterest. The meaning of the quote is, wisdom can be acquired through reflection, self-restraint, or first-hand experience, with reflection being the most profound, limitation being the simplest, and experience often being accompanied by hardships. What you do not want done to yourself, do not do to others. The meaning of the quote is, the golden rule emphasizes treating others with the same respect and consideration that you expect for yourself. The man who asks a question is a fool for a minute. The man who does not ask is a fool for life. The meaning of the quote is, Temporary embarrassment in seeking knowledge through questions is preferable to a lifetime of ignorance resulting from a failure to inquire. When you see a good person, think of becoming like him, or when you see someone not so good, reflect on your own weak points. The meaning of the quote is, observing virtuous individuals should inspire personal growth, while encountering those lacking in character should prompt self-reflection and improvement. All people are the same, only their habits differ. The meaning of the quote is, humans share a common nature, but their habits and actions distinguish them from one another. Learn avidly, question it repeatedly, analyze it carefully. Then put what you have learned into practice intelligently. The meaning of the quote is, embrace a passionate and inquisitive approach to learning. Continuously question and analyze what you've learned and apply it wisely in practical situations. Success depends upon previous preparation, and without such preparation there is sure to be failure. The meaning of the quote is, preparing adequately beforehand is crucial for achieving success, as a lack of preparation often leads to failure. The superior man does not, even for the space of a single meal, act contrary to virtue. In moments of haste he cleaves to it. The meaning of the quote is, a person of high moral character consistently upholds virtue, even in challenging circumstances, demonstrating unwavering integrity. The will to win, the desire to succeed, the urge to reach your full potential, these are the keys that will unlock the door to personal excellence. The meaning of the quote is, motivation, ambition, and a drive to maximize one's abilities are essential for achieving personal excellence. Go before the people with your example, and be laborious in their affairs. The meaning of the quote is, lead by setting a positive example for others, and be diligent in assisting them with their matters. The journey with 1,000 miles begins with one step. The meaning of the quote is, every significant undertaking starts with a small initial action. An oppressive government is more to be feared than a tiger. The meaning of the quote is, the negative impact of a tyrannical government is more dangerous and threatening than the physical prowess of a tiger. Choose a job you love, and you will never have to work a day in your life. The meaning of the quote is, pursuing a career that brings joy and passion eliminates the feeling of work, as it becomes a fulfilling endeavor. You are what you think. The meaning of the quote is, our thoughts shape our identity and determine our actions and behaviors. The more man meditates upon good thoughts, the better will be his world and the world at large. The meaning of the quote is, by focusing on positive and virtuous thoughts, individuals contribute to creating a better world for themselves and others. Without feelings of respect, what is there to distinguish men from beasts? The meaning of the quote is, respect is a defining characteristic of humanity and sets us apart from animals. You cannot open a book without learning something. The meaning of the quote is, every time we engage with a book, there is an opportunity for acquiring knowledge or insights. When a person should be spoken with, and you don't speak with them, you lose them. When a person shouldn't be spoken with and you speak to them, you waste your breath. The wise do not lose people, nor do they waste their breath. The meaning of the quote is, the wise understand the importance of effective communication and choose their interactions wisely to maintain meaningful connections. Before you embark on a journey of revenge, dig to graves. The meaning of the quote is, seeking revenge can have severe consequences, not only for the target but also for oneself. To see and listen to the wicked is already the beginning of wickedness. The meaning of the quote is, being exposed to and engaging with wicked individuals can lead one towards adopting their negative traits and behaviors. Wherever you go, go with all your heart. The meaning of the quote is, fully commit and invest your whole being in whatever you undertake, or wherever you go. Give a bowl of rice to a man, and you will feed him for a day. Teach him how to grow his own rice, and you will save his life. The meaning of the quote is, providing immediate assistance can alleviate short-term hunger, but empowering someone with skills and knowledge enables them to sustain themselves. One joy dispels 100 cares. The meaning of the quote is, a single positive experience or moment of happiness can alleviate numerous worries and troubles. Study the past if you would divine the future. The meaning of the quote is, by examining historical events and patterns, one can gain insights and make predictions about the future. It is more shameful to distrust our friends than to be deceived by them. The meaning of the quote is, placing trust in friends is more honorable than constantly suspecting them without reason. Don't complain about the snow on your neighbor's roof when your own doorstep is unclean. The meaning of the quote is, instead of criticizing others, focus on addressing and improving your own flaws and shortcomings. A lion chased me up a tree, and I greatly enjoyed the view from the top. The meaning of the quote is, even in difficult or challenging situations, one can find joy or a positive perspective. Be not ashamed of mistakes and thus make them crimes. The meaning of the quote is, mistakes should be acknowledged and learned from. rather than being concealed or turned into intentional wrongdoing. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. The meaning of the quote is, life itself is straightforward, but humans tend to complicate it unnecessarily with their choices and actions. Silence is a true friend who never betrays. The meaning of the quote is, silence can be a trustworthy companion that never reveals one's secrets or intentions. A person who chases the rabbit catches neither. The meaning of the quote is, trying to pursue multiple goals or desires simultaneously often leads to failure in accomplishing any of them. Wisdom, compassion, and courage are the three universally recognized moral qualities of men. The meaning of the quote is, these three virtues, wisdom, compassion, and courage, are universally acknowledged as essential moral qualities. Forget injuries, never forget kindnesses. The meaning of the quote is, while it's important to let go of past grievances, acts of kindness received should always be remembered and appreciated. Hold faithfulness and sincerity as first principles. The meaning of the quote is, the values of loyalty and genuineness should be regarded as fundamental principles to guide one's conduct. When we see men of a contrary character, we should turn inwards and examine ourselves. The meaning of the quote is, when encountering individuals with undesirable traits, introspection and self-reflection are necessary to assess our own behavior. We should feel sorrow, but not sink under its oppression. The meaning of the quote is, it is natural to experience grief, but we should not allow it to overwhelm or consume us entirely. Good people strengthen themselves ceaselessly. The meaning of the quote is, virtuous individuals engage in continuous self-improvement and personal growth. Everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it. The meaning of the quote is, the inherent beauty exists in all things, but it requires a discerning eye to appreciate and recognize it. And life had their determined appointments. Riches and honors depend upon heaven. The meaning of the quote is, the course of life and death is predetermined, while wealth and fame are determined by higher forces. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I would greatly appreciate your support by subscribing to my channel, liking the video, and hitting the notification bell. Your feedback is valuable, so please feel free to leave a comment to help me enhance my content.